What is going on, people, and welcome back to a new one today of top 5. I don't know if I've ever done a top 5. I've done a lot of top 10s, but this might be my first top 5. But anyway, it's my all-time favourite fast food places or establishments. It didn't take me too long to do the list. There was a couple in there that I threw in, took out, and they got replaced. But yeah, my 5 all-time favourite fast food places. Soon I'm going to be doing my all-time favourite restaurants. Go forward with it as well. It's not meaning that the top 10s ain't going to be there anymore, but the top 5s as well. It's just a bit easier sometimes if you haven't got a top 10 of things. So yeah, top 5 all-time favourite fast foods. Let me know yours in the comments. It's always good to see, especially in a country that fast food is so big. We're definitely not what the Americans are, but we like our fast food. So be interesting to see other people's. Coming in at number 5 then is the newest on this list for me in terms of experiencing it myself, because apparently we used to have some in the 90s, I'm hearing, but I never saw any. And then they went out of the country basically, and they opened one up in Reading, which is my local, about just over a year ago, I think it was. And I remember when it opened, there was a queue around the corner for it, and I've only been there twice, so I'm only going off of a limited experience there at the moment because I've only been twice and I've tried a different meal each time. But that is Wendy's. Always heard about it through like American shows and stuff, people going to Wendy's, and I was always intrigued by it. The same as, what is it, White Castle, I think it is another one that I'd like to try. But yeah, Wendy's opened up in Reading just over a year ago, I think it was. And I went there and tried, it was either the double or the triple like stack one. I can't remember the name of it right now, but then the second time I went, I tried a chicken burger thing, which I didn't think was as good, but it still wasn't terrible. And for me, when I sat in there on that first experience, actually, when I bit into the burger, I said to my missus that I think this rivals Burger King. I think it's better than McDonald's, and I think it rivals people like Five Guys as well. Now, I've seen other people do reviews on Wendy's that are UK people as well, and they weren't that impressed with it. But from my experience, even though I've only been there twice so far, I have liked it, and I think in the future it will just grow on me. And it's a little bit different as well. You get the presentation of how the store is kind of set out, with like even like the countertop where you go and order your meal when it comes. You get it on like a silver tray, which a lot of people aren't that fussed about, but it's different. And I like that you get your burger in like a foil. Five Guys do it as well, but I quite like that. I think it adds to the presentation and the overall experience. So for me, as I said, it's 5th on this list because I've only been there twice. The other ones I've had more experiences with and grown up with more. So in the future, if I revisit this list, it might even go up higher. So Wendy's at number 5, and also with them, another thing that differentiates them as well, patties themselves for the burgers are square shaped, whereas your standard ones where you get everywhere else are circular. So it's a little bit of a moat in terms of their business idea as well. So I've got to give them their props, and I think in the future they will be even higher up in this list. Wendy's, number 5. Number 4, Burger King. When I was little growing up, I loved a McDonald's like a lot of kids do and still do. Once I tried a Burger King, like just for the burgers alone, they won me over. And I probably would prefer McDonald's chips to Burger King's, but it's not a massive deal to me. I still like Burger King's chips. I think they're quite creative with their menu as well. They seem to change it up a bit more and have a little bit more creative idea, I think, than the likes of a McDonald's do. That flame grill flavour that we've all come to love really separates them from McDonald's for me. Just for the burgers alone, I would pick Burger King over McDonald's every day of the week. Now, it is pricier and more expensive than a McDonald's, but I think you pay for the quality. I think it makes up for it. Added on money you pay for a Burger King compared to a McDonald's, I think is justified because I think the quality's better. So yeah, Burger King number 4 for me, established in this country ever since I've been born, and they've always rivaled McDonald's. So for me, Burger King, I love their burgers. Have to make a list, number 4. In at number 3, only tried probably 3 or 4 years ago for the first time. Had one quite recently as well. Now again, the price is definitely up there, even probably more than a Burger King. But again, I think the burger steps up from a Burger King, and that's saying something. And I think the portion sizes in this place as well are more generous for what I know you pay more, but I think you get your bargain for your buck with the portion size, and just in terms of the amount of chips and sides and stuff you can get, and that is Five Guys. I believe I've been there 3 times maybe in my whole life. For the first time ever experiencing it, probably only 3 or 4 years ago. But again, their presentation, I like how their layout is of that like American diner setting. I've always been a big fan of that. I like them old school American diners and how they look with like the milkshakes and just the tables and the old school boards behind the counter. Even to things down like the design of the cups. Another cool thing that I think they add to their locations as well is, or they have it in the Reading one where I've been, is they have like sacks of potatoes, which they actually use them for the chips. Chips are like got a skin on them, but just they're always done to perfection, crisp, nice inside. Salt intake is just as you want it as well. And as I said, even if you order a small amount of chips, you get your bargain for your buck, and you might struggle to finish them. And that's without even getting into the burger. So yeah, the burger itself I'm a big fan of, and I think it slightly edges the Burger King one. And you can have a little bit more option in terms of what you put in it, in terms of toppings and stuff. So, yeah, I think the price, again, puts people off. It's definitely not one that you can always go to. You could with a McDonald's for the price, but I think it is justified spending a bit more money for the quality you get and the presentation and the overall experience. I think it's more clean, better produced, and better quality of meat. And I just think they're a bit more creative as well. As I said, some of the names of the things and like the milkshakes, and I'm just a big fan of it, and I've only been there a few times. So Five Guys in at number 3. In at number 2 then is one that I weren't sure where to put it when I first started the list, because it depends on your mood with these. With all of them it does, but especially this one. They kind of used to be the number 2 to the rival company, which was Pizza Hut, and that is Domino's. I remember back at school when I was quite young that we had you know when you do like days out on day trips, or you might visit a college for the day or something. We went to my local town at the time, and they had a Domino's there. And we actually got to go in there. They shut up the shop for a bit, and they let us go behind the counter and make our own pizza. And I always remember that fondly. I think that was probably the first Domino's I ever had. And even though I made it myself, I was like, this is gorgeous. I get it now and again. Again, the prices can vary, but sometimes they do good deals on these and get them for a bit cheaper. But I remember having a Pizza Hut when I was younger, and they just seem a bit bland nowadays. I know they're not doing great as well. Domino's have definitely overtaken them as the number 1 pizza chain. And I think rightly so. I think their menus are better. They've got a lot more flavour. And they just put a lot more into it, I think, in terms of a company overall. The presentation, I know that they've done well as well. During lockdown, they definitely upped their profits and did good. And not all of these probably did. So I think you have to give them props. As I said, it's going to depend if you like pizza or not, if they're going to be on your list. I do like a pizza. I'm not obsessed with it like some people are. But it's made my number 2 on this list, and that's not easy to do. As I said, when I started it, it was the one out of the 5 that I wasn't sure where to put it. But I love the sides they do as well. When you get like chicken wings, the chicken strips, you can get spicy wings and all different things, cookies. So when I get a Domino's, I usually share it with my partner, but then we get like the chicken wings, chicken strips, you get nice sauces with it, the barbecue dip. I'm not a fan of it myself, but like the garlic mayo or the cheese and chive. I think they've got a good variation of different things. You can create your own pizza on the menu, even ordering online. So I just think their business is good overall in terms of what they do. And they've been around for a long time now, and they've overtaken Pizza Hut, who were always the number 1 for a long time. When I was growing up in the 90s, Pizza Hut was number 1. Like, there was no arguments, but Domino's have overtaken them, and I think rightly so. I love a Domino's. You can't go wrong with it when you're in the mood for pizza. Number 2. And then at number 1 then, guys, this one's just I've got a soft spot for it. I always have had. When it comes to the menu, regardless of where you go, their menus are stacked because of the amount of different things they can offer you. And when I go to these and have them, I generally rotate between 3 different meals, really, because I just play it safe, because I know what I like. But I do get intrigued at times to try other things, and it's just generally a Chinese takeaway. Not a specific one. The local near me is pretty good. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, but it's definitely does the job. And as I said, Chinese food I've always loved. I should probably be a bit more adventurous with it, because I haven't tried probably even half of a Chinese menu, like as a standard menu, which I definitely should, because I think I'd like a lot of it. Yeah, I love a Chinese. I don't think you can go wrong with it. The different portions you can have, the amount of different things they do, as I said, you can get a whole hamper, basically, of different meals. Not always at you'd feel a reasonable price, but again, I feel like you get your bargain for your buck with a lot of Chinese foods, because it's very filling. You can get multiple portions and different dishes for a good price, I think. So I would understand if people didn't have it on their list, but I would also not understand, because England has always been a big fan of Chinese food, as far as I'm aware, and I'm no different. I know a lot of people like Indian food better. Now, Indian was another one that nearly made my list, but it just missed out. But I was debating with that and a few of the others I had on the list. I do like an Indian, but when you're in the mood for it, you know, these depend on when you're in the mood for certain things, you'll order whatever you're in the mood for. Like, some days you might really crave a Wendy's and you'll order that even though it's not your favourite, because you're craving it that day. I'm the same like that with an Indian or any of these, but specifically Chinese. I feel like I crave a Chinese more than any of these, and that is predominantly why I've got it as my number one. And as I said, the menus for these are just pretty much unlimited. They've got so many different options for meals you can have. So you just got to be brave and try different things. I need to do it myself and try more. But I love a Chinese. It's my favourite. That's why it's number one. That's my top 5 all-time favourite fast food places, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. It'll be good to see. And as I said, the next top 5 I'll be doing will be my favourite top 5 food restaurants. So look out for that. I'll be dropping that probably within the next week. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. It'll be good to see yours in the comments. I look forward to reading what yours are. I'll catch you guys soon.